to fight, do it at the class trial. You need to save some of the fun for later, right?
What?
But is it okay that there's no particular penalty for being late?
Is that right?
I made it here just fine. What school regulation did I violate? Am I wrong? You're so selfish, so spoiled. You're right. There's no penalties, officially, but I bet you'll be sorry later. No, I'll make sure you're sorry later. Anyway, hustle your butts onto the elevator. I'll be just one step ahead of you. When Monokuma was gone, we all rushed up to Kyoko. Kyoko? So you really didn't die?
Indeed.
Of course I didn't die. Thank God. I'm so glad you're okay. Perhaps, but that's not necessarily a good thing for us. Huh? He's right. Now we gotta deal with a ghost. I told you to stop talking.
Let's go.
Come on. Let's just go. Whatever we need to discuss, we can do it during the trial. Without even looking directly at Kyoko, Bakia stepped into the elevator. Master, wait for me. Good call. Who knows what might happen to us if we take too long.
But
I'll be happy when this trial is over. One after another, everyone piled into the elevator. But I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Kyoko before the trial started. Makes sense. You know, you just disappeared for like a day and a half. Listen, before we get started, I have to ask you. Where have you been this whole time? You used that key of yours to go somewhere, didn't you?
Correct.
So, I went to investigate the second floor of the dorms. The second floor?
that's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. Of course, I also missed his announcement because of that. I had no idea a body had been discovered. And what did you find out? Just now. I finished my search and came back down just in time to hear the class trial announcement. I took some time to go over the crime scene first. I can't go to a trial completely uninformed, can I? So that's why you were late.
However,
I'm sorry to keep you all waiting. But if you want the second floor of the dorms, then that's what the key you found goes
Wrong.
to? Actually, to be precise, not quite.
in other words,
I used Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school. What? Kyoko's account has been added to the truth bullets.
Just a second.
Hey, what are you two doing? Hurry up before we get in trouble with Monokuma.
Makoto.
We can go over all the details after we get through the trial. Okay, Makoto? Right now, I want to focus on surviving our current
It would
situation.
seem
Yeah, this is probably the single most crucial moment so far for me. For her. That's a strange way to put it. The class trial is important for everyone, right? So, why would she say it's a crucial moment for her?
goodbye.
Well, if that's all. Seemingly unconcerned, Kyoko made her way to the elevator. I'm just overthinking what she said, right? Maybe not. Anyways, let's get this started. So, class trial just now got complicated. Kyoko clearly isn't the one who's dead. So who is? And why? And the door slid shut. This time, the clunking was loud enough to hurt my ears, and the dread began to consume me once again. I can't imagine ever getting used to this mental pressure that comes with preparing for an execution. In that dusky darkness, nobody said a word. We just stood there, still and silent. Don't know if I ever used the elevator as a thumbnail, but this might be the episode. After an immeasurable period of time, the doors opened without warning. A dazzling light penetrated every depth of my eyes. But it wasn't the illuminating light of hope. It was the blinding light of despair.
I can't wait! I can't
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. This time, for pointless jokes and the time for pointless jokes and jabs has passed. Let's get on with the show. Oh, right into it. And so, the curtain opened for the fifth time. The deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Yep, we're gonna go ahead and save. Boom. Alright. So, first things first. We're gonna read the thing at the bottom and then I'll explain the new skill I got. Memories float back. Kyoko is gone, and a mysterious masked body appears. The thread holding them all together begins to spin and twine into one. Alright, cool. Anyways, we got a new skill. We got it from Bakia, if I remember correctly. I forgot what it was. Also, I didn't even realize I had more skills. Increase the time limit for each phase. Don't need that. Increase the influence gauge by 5. That's not bad. That costs 4 though. I ain't got enough for it. What was it called? Do I already have it equipped? Algorithm. Cool and composed. Lost in thought. Oh, this is it. Envious influence. So let's see. What's cool and composed? Steady your aim a little. Effective during non-stop debate. Hangman's Gambit. Now, wait. What's giving me 12 SP then? Increase the speed of... Oh, I'm stupid. No, shut up. Shut up. I'm dumb. I just seen it. It's not 15 SP. It's not 12 out of 15 SP that's used up. It's 12 out of 15 SP that's left. Nope. I'm retarded. Cool. What am I missing? What was this? 2, 5. Okay, so that's 9. And that's, okay, that's my 12. Keeping this. So I'll get rid of cool and composed for envious influence. Just so that way I survive a little bit longer when it comes to cause steady aim, it's just a little. I can work without it. Lost in thought, you have like 10, anywhere between 10 or 30 minutes time wise for each phase, so you're good on that. And then algorithm is good because it takes a while to memorize a statement. Neural liberation, the focus gauge decreases more slowly during concentration and fever time, so that means I can get more effectiveness out of that, which goes hand in hand with what is it? This goes hand in hand with was it cool and composed? No, what was it? Was it the influence gauge? Oh no, that's focus. Oh, I could have sworn I had a skill that go hand in hand with that. Oh well, I don't. Maybe on the save I have where I completed this I do, but yeah. But yeah, everything I have now is better than what I just had set beforehand. Anyways, finish preparations. Let's get this started. All rise.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because we're this close to the end of we're really close to the end of the game. Like after this, we have one more chapter to go, and that chapter is legitimately like majority dialogue. Like it's like majority dialogue, and if I remember correctly, it has the longest investigation and class trial in the entire game. So just saying, since we're really close to the end, I'm really looking forward to when we start Danganronpa 2 on this game, because Danganronpa 2 is without a doubt my favorite one in the entire series. Just story-wise. Gameplay-wise, that's going to 3, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
Oh god, can we kick him out, please? We haven't even started these on the BS.
Yoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost.
She ain't even gonna entertain the dumbness.
But she has legs and stuff.
And Hina clearly has never seen Danny Phantom before.
Oh, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
For once, Baki and me and you can agree on something.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important trait Kyoko has to prove that the body doesn't belong to her. The gloves.
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
I can see my influence gauge. Good God. I just seen it real quick. That joint is long as God. Yo, I should have been hanging with Bakia in my first playthrough of this game for myself. You know how much trouble that would have saved me? Damn. I got more hearts than... I'm not. Nope. That's an inaccurate joke. I'm about to say I got more hearts than the times the word heart is said in Kingdom Hearts. Jesus.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
There's no way that the corpse was Kyoko's. But if I can't prove why, we're gonna be stuck here and the case won't move forward. So I don't have a choice but to. Alright. Let's get it started. Tattoo on the right hand, explosion, fake nails. So fun fact, I don't go over none of these beforehand like you're probably supposed to. It's always during the class trial. What am I? Exploded the body analysis, the fake nails, and the tattoo. The body had... Alright, the body was wearing a notably long fake nails. Alright. So I don't need this. I'm pretty sure. The explosion burnt up the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The lower half of the body remained on fire and had to be extinguished. Because of this, the upper body was soaking wet, while the bottom half remained dry. Alright.
Kyoko there is.
So I think I know what it is. It's this.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
That's
They
correct.
got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
Nah, them fake nails, Chief.
No, that's wrong.
That'd be... Look, I'm a guy, so fake nails isn't a thing for me, but that sounds uncomfortable.
No. There's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
You know what? You go and find me a woman that complicated. Hey, I'm self-conscious about my hands, so I'm wearing these gloves. But also at the same time, I'm gonna wear these fake nails underneath them because they look good. That's like if I'm like, yo, I'm self-conscious about my haircut, but at the same time, let's keep getting these $50 extravagant cuts, you know? Like that don't make sense.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Facts.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
Yo, I agree with Bakia more than ever right now. There's but so much ridiculousness that I'm willing to accept. Oh my god.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Facts, we could have been further ahead. Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Alright? Make your argument. Sprinkler's explosive body analysis, tattoo on the right hand. I think I know which one it is off the bat.
If Kyoko really is still alive,
Really is.
then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so.
The face was scorched beyond recognition.
Oh no.
Shoot!
Okay, I did that to myself. I assumed she was saying like there's no way to recognize.
Is still alive.
Then who died?
There's gotta be. I don't think so. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body,
We can identify it.
No,
That was my own fault. I was assuming she was saying there's no way to recognize the body.
there was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
what? For real?
If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Fair.
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
You first, hero.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog?
Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
What the What the fuck type of freaky BDSM you be into? That's...
Seriously? They really did something that humiliating?
What is going on here? I need an adult. I think it's time to go home. I can hear my mother calling me.
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
If you compare the tattoo to the other information we have, the victim's identity should become clear. Shit. To the other information we have, I think. Let's see. Mokuro Ikusaba, female, unknown, known as the ultimate soldier. She was in Japan years later. Yep, there we go.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mokuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that Fenrir represents is... We're really doing this? I have to do this? I really have to do this, okay. Wolf. I can't spell. That's amazing.
Now I understand.
Okay, I was spelling wool. That's cool.
The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast.
He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Oh man, you hear that God of War 2? And I'm not talking about, you know, the previous one. I mean like the one on PS4. I'm boy Trey's about to get it popping. I'm gonna have me a world-ending kid with a giant hose at.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mokuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
Yeah, Monokuma's still sitting here.
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mokuro Ikusaba.
What? Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Then who was she? Who was Mokuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
Facts. And if that was the case, if she was a regular participant, where was she this entire time?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please Let's limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
Based on what we know, there can only be 2 suspects.
I got it!
Me and Kyoko.
You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The 4 of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the 4 of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it, I can't let this stand. Somehow I have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
So what time was the body discovered? At 9
I
o'clock.
got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock. So it's probably 9 on the dot right now. Oh, okay. Go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh
7.
yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. And I don't have an alibi for 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Okay then, looks like the game has just begun. If I can't provide evidence for an alibi for that period, then I'll have to prove that the murder didn't happen during that time. I don't have an alibi. To do that, I have to make it clear when the body ended up in the garden. Alright? Alright. Sprinklers, exploded body analysis, and what was the last
We've
one?
established a time frame for the murder.
Alright.
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
There's something that happens in the garden at the same time every morning. Think back to the corpse being almost dry. Okay, say less.
We've established a time frame. It took place somewhere between 9 o'clock. Yep, and Makoto.
Yeah, from to 7:30.
Oh, no.
Shoot!
I thought I had it. Okay.
We've established a time frame for them. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Yep, and Makoto.
Yeah, from to 7:30.
That's
Wait.
more than enough time to. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would
Okay.
be the time.
Something that happens in the garden every single morning. Think back to the corpse being almost completely dry. In which case, I should be able to figure out when the body has appeared in the garden.
We've
Okay.
established a time. It took place somewhere between 9 o'clock. Yep, and Makoto.
Yeah, from to 7:30.
Why do I feel like I need this? I don't know why, but it's
More than
bugging
enough
me.
time to commit murder. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
Something is telling me I need this.
We've established a time frame. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night.
Nope, I'm wrong.
Shoot!
Oh, I'm all the way off. So I know it's the sprinklers. Wait, do I?
We've established a time frame for the murder.
Wait,
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock.
it wasn't right. It is.
No,
Cool.
it's wrong.
Alright. So I was wrong about my 7:30 thing. I just kept eyeing it, and I'm like, I don't know why, but it stands out a lot more than it
The
should
murder
have.
couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words?
Why the fuck are you putting words like that in my mouth? Who says that? The mouth down south? That sounds weird.
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean by denying the sprinkler? Are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
Yo, being in a relationship with Toko gotta suck because no matter what you do, if it gets to her, I feel like all she does is play the victim card. She got the Uno reverse card on hand. It's always no you.
You really think it wasn't the sprinkler? You'd better tell us why!
I would love to if you stop talking. I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence that should do it. If we look at the body itself, that doesn't make it clear. Oh, it should make it clear. I'm all the way off. Alright, moment of truth.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no!
There we go.
How can you say it wasn't the sprinkler?
This should prove
Oh, I thought I had more than one truth bullet. I was sitting there tapping L1. Alright, but it's nice to know I'm getting better at those because, shit. When we get
Just
to
remember what the
V3,
body
it's all
was like
over.
after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Me too.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Kyoko's the only one without an alibi? Oh, wow. Okay, press the wrong button. Damn it, I thought I learned my lesson. Stop trying to play Danganronpa with one hand. No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone?
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
Huh?
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
I don't know, Kyoko. You kind of do have a reason, because it wasn't until recently when you learned that Mokuro wasn't ultimate despair. And the headmaster, and not the headmaster, but the mastermind of the school. I can easily see it as being, I'm killing you to end the game, but I also fucked up when I learned that you weren't who I thought you were, you know?
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time, stop wasting energy. You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss. Shutting up now.
Fucking Kuma.
Anyway,
I really
Kyoko,
do.
you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mokuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mokuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial. Something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Wait, time out. Why are you clapping at me now? What did I do? What did I do to deserve this?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
That's what I'm saying. Why you clapping at me? Why you gunning for my neck? I ain't do nothing to you.
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
A certain something at the scene was used to cover the body. What could it have been? Well, this one's easy.
I got it!
But why are you gunning for my neck,
You're
though?
talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean.
So now the real question becomes, why, not when the killer killed Mokuro, but what the hell type of water is coming out of that sprinkler to make the top of the tarp that's used to cover the body dirty? I need to know. I need answers, damn it. I assume that the bottom half of the tarp, the one with dirt on it, would be the one that was covering the victim. Because, soil and whatnot around them. No. Okay,
This
cool.
proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
With that dirty ass water.
Why
Got
would
it.
they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Oh, you are really clapping at my neck right now. I don't like this. Yeah, my face is Makoto face. Just gonna We're gonna screenshot that. Yeah, because you're gunning for my neck. Why? What did I do to you? I've been on your side. Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like a killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body...
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Yo, that's crazy. You gunning for my neck like that. That's a whole issue. Like, you got problems, lady. I think it... Okay.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
Alright.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
That's a whole problem, Chief. Did we forget that? Did we forget there was a whole knife through the body? That there was blood on top of that jacket it was wearing?
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
Then please explain the dirt on
If
it.
they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
I'm sorry, what? Huh? The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
Why would anyone do that? Who's going through this extra work, my dude?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
The blood right from the garden. Which means... Oh, God.
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
I know, right? Because the first thing I would have countered with was, if that's the case, show me its corpse. Right? Not, yeah, it might seem like you're the you're the person who did it, but it's a real stance. Like, if this is the case, please show me the corpse of the chicken. Because if we can't find this thing's corpse, I'm not saying that it didn't die, but what I am saying is, if you can't show me its corpse and show me that, hypothetically speaking, its blood was used to cover the victim, I'm sorry to say this, but I can't get on board with that theory. And then you're trying to pin it against me. Yeah, now I really can't get on board.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
Facts, I hope they did.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Good.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right?
That's so much work.
But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body.
Facts.
But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
Where? Where, my dude? Where? You just made it clear that the blood was from the chicken in the garden. Your theory is that they murdered the chicken in the garden to not be seen walking around. So which means the coat would have had to been soaked in the blood in the garden. Which means there should also be traces of blood somewhere else in the garden because they soaked it. They soaked the coat with blood in the garden from the chicken that they killed in the garden. So, I'm sorry, but your theory got some holes in it that if you fill them up, it's airtight, but if not, it leaves some questions. Where's the corpse of this chicken? And why would there not be no blood stains around the area? Because fresh blood is like very liquid-like, you know? It's like it's very liquid-like to an extent. You know what you get where I'm going with this? So this real blood, when that coat got picked up to get put on the body, it should have been like dripping, you know? Unless you holding it like in a way to where it doesn't drip, which is impossible if you're putting blood on it on the ground before picking it up. I'm just saying personally, yeah, I know the game ain't gonna get that in depth into it, but you guys see where the hole in this starts to grow, right? I'm just saying.
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood.
That's where your error comes in. The coat was already covered in blood. The problem with that is Bach is saying that the blood is still wet, don't touch it or you'll get some on you. When blood first flows, it is very liquid-like. You know how you watch a movie and somebody gets stabbed and the blood just starts flowing and creating this big stain on them? But then after a while, the blood starts to, becomes more of a sticky-like substance. It's like if you spill juice on yourself. Like when the juice first hits you, it's wet and whatnot. But if you give it a while, like if you don't wash it off for a while, it becomes like sticky. It becomes a sticky substance. That's the same thing with blood. So this body with a bloody coat on it, which the blood on it is still wet, meaning whatever blood that was applied to this coat couldn't have been applied that long ago. You're telling me now that blood didn't drip anywhere, especially when the coat was already covered in blood before it was put on the victim. I'm sorry, but I have a hard time believing that there would be no traces of blood or whatnot there.
This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Wait, we need to get a time frame. From what time to what time, Hina? From what time did you leave? Did you and Makoto split to what time did you guys meet back up at the gym? Because what you're saying is, this man ran from the first floor of the school to the 5th floor, and then did all of this, ran back to the 1st floor, and met up with everybody. I'm not saying it's not possible within the right amount of time. If you tell me, oh, well, it was like 10 to 15 minutes, cool. Yeah, okay, it kind of goes out there. If you tell me 5 or less, I'm sorry, no. Your thesis now, your theory now has no ground because I don't care how athletic he claims to be. I don't care how athletic you think Makoto is. Let me see you run up 5 flights of stairs. And I'm not saying you can't run up 5 flights of stairs in less than 5 minutes, but you're running up 5 flights of stairs, grabbing the jacket, bloodying it, putting the jacket on them, wait, let me run down the list. So, let me run this down. Let me make sure I got this. So, Makoto is the killer, like he said. That means when Makoto and Hina split, Makoto dipped upstairs, 5 floors, to the garden, got to the garden, what was it, 7:30? So, everything was already done, right? Get to the garden, take a chicken, whether he killed it beforehand or the night before, put the blood on his coat, and this wet blood on his coat, and put it over the victim. That's what you're telling me, right? And all of this was done within maybe, like I said, if you tell me the time frame between Makoto doing this from the time Makoto and Hina split up to back was about 10 to 15 minutes, fine. If you tell me anything less than that, like if you say something like 5 minutes, like how do I put this? 10 to 15 minutes, believable. Right? 10 to 6, okay, it's iffy, but I could still see it being possible if you move fast enough. 5 and lower, it's not. I refuse to believe that's plausible.
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I'm saying it's not possible. What's the time frame? What's that time frame?
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguised dead bodies may add to your truth bullets.
It looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Nah, I'm good. Anytime I flip a coin, there's a high likelihood it's tails.
Oh.
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
How long it took Makoto and you to reunite after you got split up? I hope.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
Ah, shit. These are the moments where you start seeing it. Oh man, that's all you need to know. As soon as she springs up the knife, oh shit. You want to talk about evidence that can be used against you? Oh, that's A tier.
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before.
No, you didn't. Nope, that knife does not look familiar. I have never in my life seen that knife.
That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
No, you didn't. That knife is unfamiliar. We have never seen that knife before. We've never seen a knife like that before. Listen, more important, now that we have this knife, what are we going to do with it? We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyways. So, what should we do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Huh? Me? Oh, fuck.
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
Wait. You can play this to flip it on the tape. Makoto Naegi. You can flip this to play it on its head. You can easily say it is possible that in some way, shape, or form, Kyoko primed you with the knife the same way Sayaka got you two to switch rooms. Kyoko purposely nominated you with the knife since you wouldn't be the hardest person to fend off with it, and then got the knife somehow, and then did the deed. You know, did a little, yeah. You feel what I'm saying? You could still save this. You, on some Superman shit, you can still save this, alright?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah.
Then why did you hide that fact?
It's not that I hid it. It's just...
I can't be sure what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Also, one thing I want to bring up, no one brought up the idea that, you see this scrawny Jack skeleton lookalike right here? Thrusting a knife at somebody? I can believe it. Thrusting it till it hit someone's back? That's a new one. I don't think he's strong enough. I don't think he's capable. Considering everything up until now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Yo, this whole trial has just turned into me defending this man. Disguised dead body. This is going to be disguised dead body, isn't it?
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where? Disguised dead body. The murder took place. The murder took place before the sprinklers were turned on. The suspect was covered with blood and a tarp to prevent it from getting wet. Later, when they removed the tarp, the suspect placed the white jacket on the body. All right. I feel like I need this.
Body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
No, it's not.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Facts. What happened with the whole Psycho
Getting
situation?
stabbed is what killed her, right?
No, that's wrong.
Oh, I was freeballing that one. I was flying by the wing of my pants by doing that, but I thought I had a monochroma file on me.
Hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
Who's going through that work, my G? I know I said in one of my earlier videos in the Danganronpa series that if you want to escape from Hope Speak Academy, you better put on a show when it comes to death, but look at Makoto. Does he look like he's here to entertain? No, he doesn't. The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot? No, there's no way that's possible. The exact conditions of the body were written down for everyone to see. Wait. Should be in a sense of the later.
I got it!
Okay, cool, because that really gets
The
used.
Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife.
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing.
Damn, I just realized that Toko went flying. Looked like a DBZ fight.
The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion!
We could really do all of these class trials without him. Hero. Yasuhiro Hogakure. There's the door. Use it. Right now. I'm tired of your BS. I'm tired of what you keep putting me through with these trials. You're dragging them. Move it.
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
There's only one explanation I can think of for that explosion. There have been to debris chart. It should be noted that the bomb, which had been removed from Monokuma in the gym, had disappeared.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right?
Oh right, this updated. I forgot about that.
That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural. Because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto.
Damn, it's almost as if this has happened before, where someone commits a murder, then somehow use the evidence or circumstance of the murder to make Makoto look like the actual culprit. Now, if Makoto was the main character, holy shit, would that be a twist for a murder. It's like the first murder we suspect, it's like in the first murder we suspected you, but it turned out we was wrong because the evidence was set against you. Round 2, you so happened to be the killer, but we wanted to fight against the idea because the first time it happened, it was because evidence was spun your way to make you look like a murderer. I'm just saying, that sounds like one heck of a thesis for a class trial. The idea of, in the first trial, we believed you weren't the killer because of circumstances. Now in the second trial, we have to believe you're the killer because of the circumstances.
And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Oh, I'm taking somebody's phrase. Say less.
Shall we continue the debate?
Wait. Let me reread this. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They have also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but those were at least several days old.
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure,
Right.
I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
I need that.
More than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
The knife was a cover-up and all the wounds on her body were fresh, which only leaves are...
Then shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has...
Got it! I see it now. Alright, boys.
It wasn't then.
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence.
Hey, yo, Hero, let me borrow this about you real quick.
More than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire...
Say less. We in here.
Then shall we continue the debate? The victim's
fatal injury has yet to be...
We out here, boys. Let's get it! Let's get it!
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
They say they were several days old. What was she, dying out slowly?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
You know, I've seen Zombie Go Boom before, and they showed how a pickaxe works on somebody's skull. Nah, fam, it wasn't no pickaxe.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Shit would look like a Mortal Kombat X-ray, bro. If you ever played Mortal Kombat X and seen Takeda's X-ray, that's exactly what it would look like if you the final hit, the heel to the face, is exactly what that would look like if you hit him in the face with a pickaxe. They gonna fuck around and start looking like the lickers from Resident Evil.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
Nah, fam.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
Toko, you will unintentionally end up killing yourself if you do that.
Thanks. I bet you just hit me with a metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
Okay. Okay, Micah from Lendes.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
The real murder weapon. I mean, yeah, we kind of seen this already.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
An arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
Huh, funny, Toko. I could have sworn your master said that you had no right to speak. Looks like we're just out here violating rights like a motherfucker, aren't we?
I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't blame Hina for doubting it, because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. Alright.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
Positive.
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
No, that's wrong.
Let me hit you with some anime logic real quick. By ourselves, we are nothing. Together, we are powerful. Alright? That's the power of friendship.
Just the one arrow would have been
Alright.
too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Let me tell you something. These arrows pulled the power of friendship out their ass. By myself, I have no power, but together, we have the power to kill who we thought was the mastermind.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Nope, I'm sorry. I get where you were going with that, but all I heard was power of friendship. Alright? By myself, I cannot defeat this enemy who can end fucking worlds. But when I think about my friends, all of a sudden, I can kill it with ease on top of that. Ain't that right, Naruto?